It is the gold standard of chewiness, a confection that defies the laws of solids and liquids. It is a polymer of sweetness, a suspension of flavor, and an icon of childhood nostalgia found in movie theaters and candy bowls across America. The gummy bear, Ursus Gummy. Since its invention in Germany in the 1920s, this dancing bear has conquered the globe. Americans consume millions of pounds of them every year. But the journey of this gelatinous treat does not begin in the candy aisle. It begins in the cornfields of the Midwest, the sugar beet farms of the Red River Valley, and the specialized protein facilities that extract the building blocks of life itself. To make a gummy bear requires a supply chain that navigates the complex worlds of agricultural starch, animal protein, and industrial chemistry. How do you turn a bone extract into a fruity treat? How do you cast millions of candies a day using molds made of powder? And how do you ensure that every single bear has the exact same bite? Not too hard, not too soft. And from the collagen helix to the final sugar coat, this is the mega process of the gummy bear. Our journey begins with the most critical and perhaps most misunderstood ingredient, gelatin. Without gelatin, there is no gummy bear. There is no bounce, no chew, no structural integrity. Gelatin is a protein derived from collagen, the connective tissue found in the skin and bones of animals. For the American market, the primary source is often porcine skin or bovine hides. The raw material arrives at specialized rendering facilities. Here, it undergoes a rigorous chemical transformation called hydrolysis. In nature, collagen is a tough triple helix structure. To turn it into gummy candy, processors must unwind these strands. The skins are treated with dilute acid or alkali solutions for weeks. This breaks the crosslinks between the protein chains. Once prepared, the material is treated with hot water. The collagen dissolves, releasing gelatin. This liquid soup is filtered, concentrated, and dried into a fine yellow powder. This powder is graded by its bloom strength, a measure of its rigidity. For a gummy bear, manufacturers need a Goldilocks bloom, typically between 200 and 250. Too low and the bear melts in the bag. Too high and it feels like chewing on a car tire. This powder is shipped to the candy factory in 2,000-pound totes. While gelatin provides the skeleton, the body of the bear is built from sugar. We travel north to the Corn Belt. Here, farmers harvest number 2 yellow dent corn. This industrial crop is the feedstock for glucose syrup. At the wet mill, the corn is separated into starch. Enzymes are introduced to the starch slurry in a process called enzymatic hydrolysis. These biological catalysts snip the long starch chains into shorter chains of glucose. The result is corn syrup. In gummy candy, this ingredient is vital. It acts as an interfering agent. If you used pure table sugar, the candy would crystallize and turn gritty. The long molecular chains of corn syrup get in the way, preventing crystallization and ensuring the gummy remains smooth, clear, and pliable for months. But corn syrup isn't sweet enough on its own. To get that burst of flavor, we need sucrose. In the United States, half of our sugar comes not from cane, but from the sugar beet. These rugged tubers are harvested in the freezing temperatures of late autumn. They are washed, sliced into French fry-like strips called cassettes, and bathed in hot water to extract the sugar. The juice is boiled down until it crystallizes into pure sucrose. This granular sugar provides the sweetness profile and the shortness of the bite, helping the teeth break through the rubbery gelatin. Protein and sugar create a sweet, rubbery blob. To make it a candy, we need chemistry. Specifically, we need acid. Citric acid, derived from the fermentation of sugars by the mold Aspergillus niger, is the sharp note that wakes up the tongue. It balances the overwhelming sweetness of the corn syrup. Without it, a gummy bear would taste flat and cloying. Then the colors and flavors. Whether using natural extracts from spirulina and turmeric, or synthetic dyes like Red 40, the ratios must be precise. A single liter of concentrated raspberry flavor can scent 10,000 pounds of candy. All these streams converge at the mega factory. This facility operates 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It is a fortress of hygiene and logistics. Liquid glucose and sugar arrive in heated tankers. They are pumped into massive, climate-controlled silos kept at 100 degrees Fahrenheit to keep the syrup flowing. Inside, the dry ingredients, gelatin, citric acid, and granular sugar, are staged in the warehouse. Every lot is tested. If the gelatin doesn't bloom correctly or the sugar has too much moisture, the entire batch could fail. The ingredients are approved. The alchemy is ready to begin. We send to the kitchen. This is the highest point in the factory, allowing gravity to aid the flow of the product. The process starts with the slurry. First, the gelatin must be hydrated. This is called blooming. Warm water is mixed with the gelatin powder. The granules absorb the water, swelling up like a sponge. This takes time, often 20 to 30 minutes. In a separate cooker, the sugar, corn syrup, and water are brought to a boil. This is a critical thermal event. The mixture is heated to exactly 240 degrees Fahrenheit. This evaporates excess water and ensures the sugar is fully dissolved. The hot syrup is cooled slightly to 200 degrees before meeting the gelatin. If it's too hot, it will degrade the protein, destroying the gummy's bounce. The two streams merge, creating the base mass. The liquid travels through a vacuum chamber. This sucks out any air bubbles trapped during mixing. If skipped, the gummy bears would be cloudy and filled with holes. We want crystal clear transparency. The base mass is divided into streams. This is the dosing station. Here, precision pumps inject the specific flavor, color, and citric acid solution into each stream. The acid is added last. Why? Because acid breaks down gelatin over time. Once the acid hits the mix, the clock starts ticking. The candy must be molded immediately, or it will lose its setting power. The liquid candy travels to the heart of the factory, the mogul. This machine is a masterpiece of engineering that solves a sticky problem. You cannot cast gummy bears in metal molds. They would stick forever. The solution is corn starch. The machine manages thousands of shallow trays filled with dry, chilled corn starch. A die board, containing hundreds of plaster bear shapes, presses down into the powder. When the board lifts, it leaves behind perfect negative impressions of the bears. The starch acts as both the mold and the non-stick agent. It holds the liquid in shape while absorbing moisture. The trays glide under the depositor. A row of dozens of nozzles descends. In a fraction of a second, they inject a precise shot of liquid candy into the starch cavities. The machine can fill 30 trays a minute. That's nearly 20,000 bears every 60 seconds. The liquid is hot and runny. The starch immediately begins to absorb the heat and moisture from the skin of the candy. The bears are shaped, but they are not finished. They are technically a liquid gel. They need to cure. The trays are stacked 10 feet high and moved into the curing room. This is where the magic happens. For 24 to 48 hours, the bears sit in this climate-controlled environment. The temperature and humidity are strictly regulated. The starch draws moisture out of the center of the bear, while the gelatin protein chains slowly knit themselves into a solid 3D network. If they are removed too early, the bears will deform and cold flow, turning into shapeless blobs in the bag. If left too long, they become hard rocks. Once cured, the trays return to the mogul for bucking. The trays are inverted, dumping the starch and the bears onto a sieve. The starch falls through the mesh screens to be dried, sifted, and reused for the next batch. The gummy bears, now separated from their molds, bounce along the shaker table. They are covered in a fine white dust. Nobody wants a dusty gummy bear. They need to shine. The bears travel into a polishing drum. A fine mist of carnauba wax and MCT oil is sprayed onto the tumbling candy. This serves two purposes. First, it gives the bear that iconic jewel-like gloss. Second, it prevents them from sticking together in the bag, ensuring they flow freely. The finished bears face the final test. Optical sorters scan the stream. Any bear that is misshapen, conjoined, or the wrong color is blasted off the line with a jet of air. We ascend to the scale deck. The bears fall into a multi-head weigher. A computer calculates the exact combination of buckets needed to equal the target weight, say 5 ounces. The bears drop into the bagger. A roll of film is formed into a tube, sealed at the bottom, filled with bears, and sealed at the top, all in under a second. It is a process that turns the raw materials of American agriculture into a global icon of happiness. From the rendering of collagen to the harvest of corn starch, the gummy bear is a triumph of food engineering. It is a candy that captures the imagination, holding its shape through heat and transport, only to melt away at body temperature. Inside the candy factory, science is sweet, and the chemistry is delicious.